best feeling is when you, I think, get a player into a position that you kind of know and the player really knows deep down wouldn't have happened without your intervention in some way. That's it, because it's like players perform on a pitch, and the best performers clearly sell themselves in a way, and really your agent role is around the management of that player's career. But some players haven't got the most straightforward route, and that's where you really have to kind of put your shoulder to the wheel. And I think some of my favorite stories, even the most recent, I would say, would be we've got a Nepalese striker called Sabitra Bandari, who's currently playing in France. And Sabitra is a classic example. Nepal, I don't think really have any players who've ever played in the top leagues professionally. So you can imagine the sort of obstacles we were dealing with when we were obviously presented a player that was recommended to me by a coach who was the national team coach in Nepal, Italian coach, Vincenzo, typical Italian, very passionate, and it's like, this is an amazing player, get her out of Nepal. So, we did a lot of work to try and find a club in a professional league that was willing to take a chance on Sabitra. And to be frank, a lot of them, the answer was very much, look, like no players ever come out in Nepal, so why are we going to look at this particular player? Regardless of the video, regardless of the physical data I could give them, all this stuff. But eventually, we managed to find a club for Sabitra in the Israeli league. And the Israeli league in the women's game is, I would call it like a lower level tier 2 league. So when I mean by tier 1 league, you're talking about, the big 5, big 6, WSL France, the NWSL in the States. The tier 2 leagues are like Norway, Denmark, good leagues, but not quite up there with the top ones. Israel is a league that's kind of at the bottom end of those tier 2 leagues. So not as strong as the better ones like Denmark, but still, a respectable league. So we managed to find a club that was willing to take a chance on her in Israel. This was about a year ago. First game, she scores 4 goals.
Wow.
And then suddenly, all of these clubs that didn't really want to know clearly take an interest in the player. Unfortunately, obviously, the events of October last year kicked in Israel, and the league was suspended, and eventually we terminated Sabitra's contract in Israel. But thankfully, she'd already made enough of a mark that a French team approached us and decided to sign her. And, that for me is amazing because, with all the work we did, she obviously did the business, because by going to Israel, scoring a shed loads of goals in the 5 matches she played, that provided then the opportunity for her to get that springboard to go into a tier 1 league. And that never would have happened. But we were definitely the catalyst in finding that first team for her. So in recent times, that's definitely the most satisfying thing. And I think when that happens, that's the stuff that makes me smile and makes it worthwhile in terms of doing the agency work.